Hi everyone, I'm Noelle Diversion, or as some of you may remember me, Liark, and this is how I made my song Perfectionist featuring Scrubby. So this song was pretty simple. It has a really interesting story to it though. So, this all started off on a day when I still had a job. The power went out at my work, and I couldn't do anything. I had literally nothing to do. My entire job was on that computer. Like, if the power was out, good luck finding anything. So I pulled out my Mac, and I started producing a song. I was really bored. So I just loaded up a random Contact preset. It was just like, I think this is, I was scrolling through Hypha, and this wasn't even very far in. I found this lead. That was it. That was all I did. I literally just, on this work day, just opened Logic, wrote this melody really quickly. And at the time, I knew I kind of wanted it to be something kind of like poppy, but I didn't want it to initially go the sort of like almost digicore route that it went in the end. And so that's where the intro drums come from. So literally the first two layers that I had in this entire song were these. And I knew I wanted to take that somewhere because that was like really interesting. I hadn't really written anything that sounded like that before. I added a tambourine because I was feeling extra like, I don't know, spicy with it. I just felt like adding a tambourine. And that just kind of like pads it out. And then of course I added the sub bass just so it would, feel more full, add a bit of rumble to the low end. And then I wrote this guitar part. You all know the guitar part. It's in the song, obviously. But initially, it was very different. Like, I'll play it here. Now that I've played that, you might notice, hey, that sounds slower and lower pitched. Now, I'd like to point you in the direction of this little thing called varispeed. As you can see, it says 13% here, right? Now, if I put that down to 0, this is what the song originally sounded like when I had first recorded it or put it down. Now, obviously, there are a few more layers there than I have shown already. And those basically just consist of, guitars, some live bass, and a couple synths and a drum rack. And basically, I think I wrote the guitar part first, if I'm recalling correctly. It's literally as simple as... And then, of course, there's that riff, which is like da-da-da. Yeah, and so those weren't recorded on this guitar. This is my newer guitar. It's way better. And honestly, if I had literally just waited like a month before putting out Perfectionist, I could have re-recorded it on this thing, which sounds so much better. But alas, I didn't do that. So here we are. I know I wanted to go with that like riff because it was so infectious, you know? Just, it gets stuck in your head. There's also the live bass that I mentioned. When I say live bass, I mean that very loosely. This is a contact patch again. It's I believe it's called gin bass. No, it's punk bass. That's right. And I've basically I hadn't really used that too much. Most of the time I use the Scrubby Rickenbacker bass on contact because it sounds really nice. But this seemed like a very appropriate usage of this specific patch in this song. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then of course you drop into the chorus, which has some rhythm guitars. However, those used to sound completely different. And then I just put the riff that the other guitar was playing in the pre-chorus. I took that and I put it on just a Tracy Breaks Serum synth. Shout out to Tracy Breaks, genuinely one of the coolest musicians that I've heard in a long time. The bass is obviously super heavy hitting in the chorus as well. This is another Tracy Breaks synth, actually. I had just got the Serum 2 Tracy Breaks pack, and it's so gross. And I mean that in a really positive way. It's like a disgusting synth in the best way possible. And then, of course, you have the drums, which just sound like this. And then, of course, in the second half of the chorus, every time it hits, there's some live drums that are added. So basically, all the hi-hats and stuff swap over to being from this contact drum patch, and it adds a lot of oomph. It really it makes it hit so much harder because I'm enough. Tell myself I'm perfect, but you know it's just a bluff. Ain't it rough? Give me everything I want, baby, I still aim above. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfectionist inside a fragile little human show. And I take things way too literal. Tell me some psycho television, the peripherals. Like that really sounds cool as hell with those other drums. And then the second verse is pretty much just a copy of the first one, but with some different drums. But first I want to go over the effects. So throughout this song, there's quite a few effects. Some of these are, underscores sound effects that have been used in underscore songs because she's my biggest influence maybe ever at this point. You have the metronome, you have the June tag, which is a very Leark era thing for me to do. It also has a Ramsoid riser, a reverse Ramsoid riser, Five Nights at Freddy's sound effect, Wii Sports sound effect, and there's just an Angel Jelly sound effect as well. So the effects altogether sound like... just in that chorus. That's literally it. Yes, that is the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 a.m. sound. It works really well. Come on, listen. It adds so much oomph. Now let's move on to the second verse's production. So as I said, it's pretty much just a copy of the first verse, except it has some different drums in it, and I really like the way that they sound. So these are the different drums. Okay, so interestingly, there's something cool that happens in this second chorus. So obviously it starts off with like a as like a sort of almost fake out where it's like it's building still. And it's like I'm enough, and it really just adds like some crazy sort of energy, I guess. Like it adds an expectation of a drop, and I think it works really well. But then after that hits, instead of going into the guitars playing the chords, it's actually swapped around. So the synth is playing the chords. And it's only there for like a millisecond, but I think it sounds really, really cool. It's a nice change of pace for the song. So it sounds like... The only thing different here is the drum pattern. And I did that because I wanted the instrumental to feel like it was dynamic enough to keep the listener engaged. So instead of being just like your standard like or it instead goes double time into like a sort of almost drum and bass feel. Before entirely switching up for Scrubby's verse. Now, I'm going to break down the production here, but before I get to that, if Scrubby has anything that she wants to add, I will put it right here. So enjoy. Insert Scrubby content. What the fuck am I doing?
Alright, so one day I was chilling in my $1 million LA mansion when I saw my goat, Noelle Diversion, was previewing her songs on a live stream. And she previewed the beat for Perfectionist, and like immediately I was like, I have got to get on this song. I was like, fuck you, why didn't I think of this beat first? So I dropped the little eye emoji in the live stream chat, you know, I was like, I'd like to be on this song. And she was like, Scrubby, you're so cool, you're so awesome, you're the coolest person I know, of course you could get on my song, it'd be a fucking honor. And those were the exact words she said, those were the exact things she told me. And I wrote like 4 verses for my part of the song, and all of them sucked, dude, like all of them sucked. The one I ended up using was actually the first one I wrote and recorded. It just ended up being, I think, the one that fit the song the most, the one that sounded the best, and I'm just really happy I got to be on this song. And, you know, that's kind of all I have to say.
Editor Noelle here again. Everyone say thank you to my goat Scrubby, because this song would not have been the same without her. Anyway, back to the video.
So obviously the entire like instrumental palette of the song changes at this point. You get this sort of like pluck bass, almost like a donk. And I wanted that specifically to give that sort of like early 2000s like house music almost vibe, except everything is way too fast. So and then that's layered with a sub bass. And then on top of that, there's this screeching lead that, again, I think is just a Tracy Breaks lead. And that's all layered with the super saw. And then, of course, the drum pattern is like wild compared to what it is before. It just adds a sense of urgency. And then the drums from the previous choruses come back. And just like that, the tempo drops down. So altogether, obviously, that sounds like this. The snare is really just like smacking the shit out of the beat, and that's something I really like. And then we drop into what is my favorite part of the song. And that's this section at the end that's very obviously inspired by Movies for Guys by Jane Remover. Play a clip here.
I don't really want to be someone that gets in your way, but I will let it slide past my face. What you say yesterday, I don't really want to be someone that gets in.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I love Jane Remover, and a lot of Tired Brain Analysis Deluxe is going to be super inspired by Jane Remover music. Specifically, Revenge Seekers and a bit of Venturing and a bit of Census. Not as much Census because Census hadn't clicked for me when I made most of this deluxe, but still some Census from like especially the track where I'm sort of saying goodbye to the name Leark. Frailty as well, like a lot of frailty. Yeah, so this section sounds like this. So a bass just comes in. And that just plays that the whole time, except for when it starts getting a little more rhythmic towards the end. And then the only other layers are this drum layer that sort of comes in midway through. And it's just super like filtered and pitched down. It gives it sort of this eerie feel. And then there's this layer here. And now this is a texture by someone called Orr. These textures are used a lot in a genre called Botanica, which is a subgenre of, I want to say electronic dance music, but it's almost IDM in a way. So yeah. Then there's this op that plays at the same time, which sounds like this. I really like how this sounds. So those two together sound like this. And then, of course, you have the pianos that play, which these things are beautiful. Like, I really like how I did this. And that's just a combination of Shearwater piano and Purity. I wish I could show you guys these, but they're all frozen because otherwise this project will not run. Like, this video would be a mess. You haven't seen it because I've been editing it, but I've had to freeze a lot of tracks. But yeah, that's it for the instrumentals. So let's get to the vocals, shall we? So lyrically, this song is, as the title implies, about being a perfectionist, which is something that I suffer from a lot. Ironically, even on this song, I was a huge perfectionist about the entire thing multiple times, to the point where I was going to have this song out in like November. It came out the last possible day of 2025. Barely. That's how long this took me, how long I was working on it. I'd been working on this since October. No, September. I wanted to get it sounding so perfect because otherwise I just wouldn't be up to my standard. And so a lot of these vocals are recorded with the intent of being as close to perfect as possible. Obviously, like midway through the song, it kind of like turns into talking about gender dysphoria, which is something that obviously I suffer from, or at least I suffered from a lot until like relatively recently. That resulted in a really interesting song where it's like, it starts off as like, shit, I want everything to be perfect all the time and I don't know what to do about it. And then it makes me feel bad when it's not perfect. But then it goes into, oh God, something at a fundamental level of who I am doesn't sit right with me. Obviously being like, yeah, this body I was born in. Like, I just really like how this song deals with multiple issues that I have to go through like on the daily. And so this first verse is just like,
Yeah, it's been a rough type of day. Looking in the mirror, I don't like what's on display. Oh, been run to the grave, but I got so much to live for, I don't wanna change. Oh, so can you hold me in your arms? Tell me I look pretty and I love it as a charm. Yeah, tears they pull up in your palms. Nothing ever changes, so do not be alarmed.
except that's not what the vocal originally sounded like. Matter of fact, it originally sounded like this.
Yeah, it's been a rough type of day. Looking in the mirror, I don't like what's on display. Oh, been run to the grave, but I got so much to live for, I don't wanna change. Oh, so can you hold me in your arms? Tell me I look pretty and I love it as a charm. Yeah, tears they pull up in your palms. Nothing ever changes, so do not be alarmed.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I pitched it up largely not because I wanted the song to be faster, but because I was dealing with like severe voice dysphoria. Now, if you don't know, like for those of you who don't go through this, sometimes as a trans person, it can be really, really uncomfortable to hear your voice, especially if you haven't voice trained, which at the time of recording this, I didn't know how to even approach doing that. I mean, I had some sort of an idea, but while singing, I had no clue. Nowadays, I could record that at like this pitch that I ended up pitching the song up to. Tears they pull up in your palms, nothing ever changes, so do not be alarmed. And it's like, that's way more feminine than the original vocal take. It's not perfect, not even close to perfect, but it's a lot better. But I used to compensate for that by pitching up songs quite a bit. I think I did that with Can You Take It as well, and also maybe... No, I didn't do it with Rush, but yeah. Now, some people may have noticed that there are two layers called Tato here. I wonder why. That, in fact, is Tato. Tato, however you want to say it. So this actually comes from a very interesting thing that I used to do. If I was working on a song and I couldn't record it because I was at work or I was in like the car on the way to work because I used to get driven there, I would always record or get down my vocal melodies and lyrics using Synth V because I have a license for Synth V. And so that's an interesting practice. That happened with a couple other tracks too, like I have this track called Waiting Game, which features somebody as well. And almost the entirety of that song was written like through Tato. And I think that's really interesting. It was a product of the environment that I was in at the time. And it made for some very challenging vocals to match with my own voice, which I could definitely do now, but like, good Lord. I'll play the Tato Perfectionist demo right here so that way you can hear it.
Editor Noelle here. So I actually am going to play the entirety of this demo. So feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to hear that. But for those of you that do want to hear that, this should take about 3 to 4 minutes.
It's been a rough runs away, so I better keep watch. Losing my days and staring at the clock. Cuts on my face cause I did all the fall. Better than leaving every single spot. I'm in love. Tell myself I'm ready, but you know it's just a clock. Ain't it love, give me everything I wanted, baby, I still never fall off. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfectionist is not a fragile little human soul. And I take things way too literal. Let me some song on television, over it falls. I'm enough. Keep saying I'm perfect, baby, but it's not enough. Ain't it rough? Never gonna break these habits, so I guess I'm stuck. But you make me feel so much better, I cannot give up. Perfectionist inhuman shell, I just want it to stop.
Now the chorus gets more layers added to it. So basically, I like to stack out my choruses so that they have more oomph to them. Something I didn't do I think, Can You Take It? I didn't really do that, which is why the chorus kind of feels a little flat. But here I have so many layers.
I'm enough. Tell myself I'm perfect, but you know that's just a bluff. Ain't it rough? Give me everything I wanted, baby, I still ain't above her. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfect.
So with all the layers together, it sounds like this.
I'm enough. Tell myself I'm perfect, but you know it's just a bluff. Ain't it rough? Give me everything I wanted, baby, I still ain't above her. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfectionist inside of
More Tato for you.
And I take things way too literal. Got me so psyched, got tunnel vision, over it falls.
And then I also have this like vocal chop thing that's going on, and that sounds like this. And that just kind of sits in the background. It sounds really nice.
I'm enough. Tell myself I'm perfect, but you know it's just a bluff. Ain't it rough? Give me everything I wanted, baby, I still ain't above her. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfectionist inside a fragile little human shell. And I think you're too literal.
It just has a really nice layer. Second verse is one vocal take, by the way. It's really short. I don't know why I decided to make it so short, but
Time runs away, so I better keep watch. Losing my days and staring at the clock. Cuss on my face cause I did a rough job. Better than leaving any single spot.
I feel like it's kind of obvious what that's about. The second chorus adds one more layer in, and that is this layer. Which sounds really weird, but it kind of adds to it.
Everything I wanted, baby, I'm still in above her. Cause I'm overly critical. Perfectionist inside a fragile little human shell. And I think you're too literal.
And then, of course, we get into Scrubby's verse, which she sent me these like raw. I didn't do much to these. I just added a couple of effects to make sure that they like matched my vocals in terms of like frequency spectrum, I guess. I recently found out these were recorded on a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, which is crazy. Scrubby, what the fuck? How are you this good at this? How do you do that? It starts off with this layer. And then you get the main two verse layers in, which is these.
Entirely look at myself in the mirror and I stand quietly. A baby's inside of me, but that girl wants to hide from me. I'm staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'm gonna die. I need to keep on telling myself that I am enough, that I'm really in love, that I'll always be enough. I'm enough, 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 I'm enough.
Yeah, so everyone go show some love to Scrubby. Genuinely awesome musician with some heat. She makes some heat. So y'all gotta do that. The vocals in this end bit are really nice. So you have like the main lead vocal, which is like,
I'm enough, I'm enough. Keep saying I'm perfect, baby, but it's not enough. Ain't it rough, ain't it rough? Never gonna break these habits, so I guess I'm stuck.
and then that's layered with a higher pitched vocal.
I'm enough, I'm enough. Keep saying I'm perfect, baby, but it's not enough. Ain't it rough, ain't it rough? Never gonna break these habits, so I guess I'm stuck. But you make me feel so much better, I cannot give up. Yeah. Perfectionist in here, inshallah, I just wanted to stop.
There are these two vocoder layers, and I really like how they sound. They just really kind of pull the whole song together at the end.
I'm enough, I'm enough. Keep saying I'm perfect, baby, but it's not enough. Ain't it rough, ain't it rough? Never gonna break these habits, so I guess I'm stuck. But you make me feel so much better, I cannot give up. Yeah. Perfectionist in here, inshallah, I just wanted to stop.
So yeah, that's how I made Perfectionist. I mean, I took like months getting the mix right after this, but you win some, you lose some. I made a good song. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all when the next single comes out, whenever that is. I gotta figure that out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.